Visit our Swat&Vee channel with your questions to see how best we can help you out your process. Please don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel.
Now let's get into the video and find out what the latest updates are on U.S. immigration. Senator J.D. Vance, a Republican from Ohio, has proposed an aggressive new immigration policy that, if approved, would undoubtedly precipitate an overall decline in the number of trips to the United States by many people living in other countries, unless those people were to be wealthy. Even though it is extremely unlikely that Vance's extreme measure would ever become law, the fact that Vance is pushing for it shows how far the nativist right is ready to go in order to undermine the concept of immigration itself. Vance's Timely Departure Act was published on Thursday and stipulates that foreign nationals who wish to enter the United States on temporary visas must make a bond or cash payment to the Department of Homeland Security ranging from $5,000 to $15,000 in the amount of their choice. After leaving the country, they would be eligible to receive that sum back, but only if they did so in compliance with the conditions of their visas. It is important to emphasize, however, that overstays constitute a relatively small fraction of planned departures, less than 2% in 2019, and that the policy is intended to discourage visitors from overstaying their visas, which is a primary contributor to the undocumented immigrant population in the United States. There would be exemptions for some temporary visas, including as diplomatic visas, as well as for visa waiver program participants who are non-citizens of the United States. According to Aaron Reichlin-Melnick, who is the policy director for the American Immigration Council, this policy would require a significant number of people coming on most non-immigrant visas, including tourists, students, business visitors, religious workers, air and marine crew workers, and more, to pay at least $5,000 each time they want to enter the country. This would include people who are in the religious workforce, air and marine crew workers, religious workers, and business visitors. A policy like this would be like taking a wrecking ball to the economic and cultural life of the United States. It would be impossible for the United States to attract a significant number of visitors if it demanded that tourists, students, and businesses come up with thousands of dollars in order to visit the country, even for a short period of time. Despite the fact that the United States is the wealthiest nation in the world, the majority of Americans do not have the financial flexibility to cover even a sudden bill of $400 without incurring more debt. Now multiply that cost by a factor of 10 and pass it on to consumers hailing from nations where the majority of the population lives in poverty. Even if customers would get their money back when they checked out, this does not solve the problem that the majority of people in most parts of the world do not have access to large sums of cash or to substantial credit. As a direct consequence of this, many people would find that traveling to the United States is impossible, while others would decide that traveling there is not something they want to do. It's not only that conventions and other business gatherings would be moved elsewhere, and tourism would suffer. The shipping, logistics, and aviation industries would all be affected. Reichlin-Melnick stated that one can imagine the outcry among airlines and shipping companies if they have to pony up tens of thousands of dollars in cash every time a crew member entered. There would be an overall reduction in the number of airlines operating in the United States market. Elites are the strata of society that are least likely to be slowed down by having to deal with additional paperwork or having to transfer large sums of money. In spite of the fact that some people who support MAGA presumably perceive this as a way to stop immigration from the reality is that it would have a negative impact on a significant number of foreign nationals who come from wealthy countries. This bill defies basic sense, and it's difficult to conceive that it would even get traction within the Republican caucus if it were introduced. Despite the fact that the party is prone to nationalist rhetoric, its members nevertheless have a basic awareness that the United States' willingness to allow legal immigration is essential to maintaining its preeminent worldwide status. However, the bill is still a useful document since it distills the values of the more conservative members of the MAGA caucus. With the exception of a select group of wealthy elites, The United States of America would ideally be far more isolated and cut off from the rest of the world if this measure were passed in its ideal form rather than in its more practical form. Their idea of excellence strikes me as being quite archaic and antiquated.
I hope you guys found this video extremely helpful. If you know anybody that could benefit from this information, definitely make sure to share this video with them. We are all about empowering you with knowledge. So the more people that can benefit from this video, the more people we want watching this video. If you like this video, please make sure to hit that thumbs icon. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and hit on the notification bell for more immigration updates. Bye!